Hello there, I'm Tiggy from 9 Feet Tall. I'm really pleased today to be joined by Sara Ewen from Ashurst, where she's Head of Data Analytics and Governance. So we're going to talk today about the importance of data for law firms and particularly focus on prioritising data and making sure that the strategy is embedded across the firm by educating teams about potential uses for data. So what advice would you have for engaging with practice areas and business service teams to scope out a data strategy and then, really importantly, embed that into everyday ways of working?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really obvious one, but you can't ever over-communicate this, and you can't have too much feedback from people. You want a situation where, and this is quite scary for people sometimes, because you're not only giving them a great new shiny dashboard, but you're actually asking them to change the way they behave. You're asking them to change, the way that they process data, for instance, and they might not even acknowledge that they are processing data quite often. But it's just about engaging people all the way through. So, as you're developing your strategy, you want to be going out there and interviewing as many people as you can and getting their insights. But you want to ensure that they understand what the firm's strategy is and how can what they are suggesting and the things they're complaining about, what is it you can do to actually make their life better to help benefit the firm's strategy. And I think also as you're actually embedding it in the firm, you have to make sure that you're always engaging with various different practice areas and with the business services teams to make sure you're hearing their voice. They should be on those steering groups, on the working groups of the projects, so that when something is delivered to them, it's not a surprise. They have been bought into this. And I think just trying to get on as many team meetings, as many office meetings as you can to make sure that everyone hears this message and give them some quick wins as well. It's not all about it's going to take us 6 months, a year, 2 years to deliver that. What can we do today to make your life better?
Yes. Yeah, so practical things. And I think education about what data can do for you in your specific role is really important as well. It sort of opens the floodgates for ideas, because often that's where it's difficult to start. Do you know what it could do for you?
Absolutely. And I think if you can advertise what it's done for someone else, that triggers something in that person's mind. They might work in a very different vertical within the firm, but that's worked for you, so maybe this will work for me.
Mm-hmm. In terms of interesting concepts, so when we last spoke, you mentioned the idea of a digital twin, which I loved. I thought it was a really interesting concept. Can you explain a bit about what you mean by digital twin and what benefits you think that having that concept and that idea could bring?
Yeah, so a digital twin is really just a copy of something. It's a copy of either your whole firm or a piece of data that you have that you can then manipulate to identify what would maybe happen to the real life version. So to use another example outside of law, the City of Oslo uses a digital twin for transport management. They monitor in real time all of the roads, and that way they can change traffic lights and stop traffic in certain areas to ensure that flow of traffic. And since they've introduced this, they've never had a traffic jam since, which is pretty phenomenal. So imagine that in a law firm being able to have a copy of something. I think one of the benefits really is that you're de-risking things. You can try things out before actually really doing it live. Now, it could be about, okay, we want to raise our hourly rate. What would that tend to do, to our matters, and what impact would it have on a client? What impact would it have on us actually getting those fees back in again? Training is another really great idea with a digital twin. You can train people on a copy of something that's maybe actually happening live, which is good salaries and bonuses. I know that all firms will do a lot of work around, okay, how does that work with our budgets and with our PPP if we give this amount of salary increase and this amount of bonus? But actually it's wider than that. If we do that, what might happen? Will more people leave? Will less people leave? Will people want to join us when they hear how fantastic we are with our bonus pot? So there's various different ways that you can do it, but it's really around the ability to try before you buy. Try things out, de-risk things. In a law firm, we're not going to do that real-time, really sharp, change that you would with, say, traffic management and transport management. But you can make subtle changes to things to see what the different outcomes might be.
Yeah, and I think the idea of using data to model scenarios would be incredibly useful and practical thing.
Yeah.
It's something that you can actually trial relatively quickly.
Resource allocation is another one. This is how we traditionally resource this type of matter. What if we did something different? What is, how many days sick leave do people normally have? Okay, let's start to bake that in. How many leavers do we have? What does the impact of new joiners have? Because it will take some people away for a bit of time, or less chargeable hours if they're helping out a new start. All of these things can be baked into these.
Yeah, and just that sort of insight that you get allows you to, like you say, tweak your plans and create plans that are more realistic to deliver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sara, for this quick conversation. Some really good insights in there. And thank you to everyone else for listening. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
Thank you.